Hello, and welcome to this intro to Windows 8.1 for the Wellsboro Area School District. Today we're going to show you a little bit about the login screen, the start screen, how to work with it, get your apps that you want on it, get the apps you don't want off of it, how to search. We'll get you to Outlook. We'll show you how to install printers. We'll touch a little bit on personalization. We will show, for those of you with multiple monitors, we'll show you how to set those up. And we'll work a little bit on the Windows App Store apps, how to work them. Okay, so let's get into it. When you first start up your computer, you'll see a screen similar to this one. If you just click anywhere on the screen, touch any key, it will bring you to the login screen. Go ahead and hit, if it doesn't come up as you, go ahead and hit other user and type in your username and password. And I hope I got that one right. When you first log in, you will be presented with a hi and installing your apps, and we're setting things up for you, all that fun stuff. It'll take a minute or so to get to the desktop. Your screen will also look a little bit better. I am remoting into a system so I can show you the logon process here because you can't record it otherwise. Once you've logged on, you'll be dropped to the desktop. It hasn't changed much since Windows 7. In Windows 8.1, they brought back the Start button. It's squarer than it used to be, but it's there. As you can see, the Start screen is very different than the Windows 7 Start menu was. Just remember, different isn't always a bad thing. Let's take a tour of the new Start screen. First, in the middle, you can add and remove shortcuts to apps. You can move them around, group them, and name the groups. More on that in a minute. By clicking on your name, you can change the picture that shows up here and on the login screen. Lock does exactly what you'd think. It locks your computer so no one can use it without logging on first. Locking the computer doesn't mean no one else can log on, but they won't get to your stuff without your password. Sign out is what you probably know as logout. It closes out your session and takes you back to the login screen. The important difference between locking and signing out is a locked computer leaves everything as you had it when you locked it. So if you have a document open, it'll still be open when you unlock it. When you sign out, everything you had opened will be closed. Below sign out are the users who are either currently signed on to the computer or who have been recently signed on to the computer. This provides a shortcut to log in, unlock their account, but you'll still need their password to log on as them. Lastly, the switch account locks your session and takes you back to the login screen so any other user can log on. Next to your name is the power button. Click on it to get your shutdown options. Sleep locks your computer, then puts it in a low power state. The big advantage to sleep is the few seconds or less the computer takes to wake back up and be ready to be used. However, if you're using a laptop that's unplugged, it's important to note that this will slowly drain your battery. The shutdown option will obviously power down your computer. Windows 8.1 boots significantly faster than Windows 7 did. From a typical powered off state, your computer should be usable in less than a minute. Restart is again obvious and hasn't changed from previous versions of Windows. Lastly is a search button, but more about that in a minute. Down at the bottom, close to the Start button, is the All Apps button that takes you to the All Apps screen. This is similar to the Windows 7 All Programs menu in function, though not in appearance. After a few seconds, it hides itself, so if you don't see the arrow, move your mouse and it should appear. By default, the All Apps screen is a complete listing of all the apps and programs installed on your computer. By clicking the By Name header, you can choose how you'd like to sort the list. Click the up arrow to get back to the Start screen or on an app to start it up. To customize the apps listed on the Start screen, you pin them or unpin them and drag them and drop them where you want them. So if I don't want Internet Explorer on my start screen, I simply right-click on its tile and click Unpin from Start, and it's removed. I'll do the same for OneDrive. Both are still in the All Apps screen, just no longer on the Start screen. Let's say I want to add Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, and ActiveInspire to my Start screen. I have a couple of ways of doing that. First, I can click the All Apps arrow and scroll through the list to find Word, right-click on it, and pin to Start. Windows adds a tile for Word at the end of my Start screen. I'll do the same for Outlook. I can do the same thing for PowerPoint and ActiveInspire, but I can also search for them. To search in Windows 8, just open the Start screen and start typing. While you can click on the magnifying glass to bring up the search box, it's a waste of time, so why bother? If I simply start typing PowerPoint, the search box comes up and starts finding what I'm looking for. From the list, I can right-click and pin to Start. Same thing for ActiveInspire. An option related to Pin to Start you may find useful is Pin to Taskbar. If you want to have an app always be available on the taskbar, that bar that sits at the bottom of the desktop where running apps normally reside, just right-click on the app and choose Pin to Taskbar. Regardless if it's running or not, it'll be shown on the taskbar until you remove it. Now let's say I want to create a group of the applications I just pinned to make them stand out. All I have to do is drag and drop them to where I want them. To create a new group, I simply drag the tile to the right of the last group of tiles. It's important to note that Windows doesn't let you place a tile anywhere on the screen. It forces them to flow together with a separation between groups. Because of this flow, the Start screen may look a little different on different size screens because not all the tiles will fit the same way. They still will be grouped the same way, however. You also have some degree of control over the size of the tiles. For desktop programs, Word for instance, you have the option of choosing medium or small by right-clicking on the file, then choosing the Resize menu. For the weather app, I can choose small, medium, wide, or large. The last bit I'll touch on about the Start screen is you can name a group by right-clicking a blank part of the Start screen and choosing Name Groups. Click on the Name Group header above the group you want and type in a name. Click anywhere off the headers to save the name. If you have a tile on the Start screen called Mail, I don't have it here, that doesn't take you to Our Mail. You need to search for Outlook or use the All Apps menu to get to Outlook. We've sent out a login script that will remove the Mail tile, as well as a few others, but it may not have run on your system yet. It takes a few minutes after the first login. Installing a printer is easy. The fastest way we found is to click on Start, then type Printers, or Pritner, as I often do. Click on Devices and Printers in the search results, then click on Add a Printer from the menu bar. A list of printers will come up. If you're not on Wi-Fi, this list should be printers from your school. If it is your school's printers, simply double-click on the printer you want, and after a moment a wizard will come up. Just click Next and Finish, and that printer will be added. If you are on Wi-Fi or for some reason the list of printers for your school doesn't show up, click the printer that I want isn't listed. Choose Find a Printer in the directory and then click Next. On the location, choose Browse and open up your school. Hit Find Now and the list at the bottom will be refreshed with printers from your building. Again, simply double click on the printer that you want and after a moment a wizard will pop up. Choose Next, decide if you want to set it as your default, and Finish, and that printer will be added. While we're here, if your printer needs a code to allow you to print, this is the place you want to set it. Right-click the printer that needs your code and go to Printing Preferences. Add the code in the appropriate spot, it varies by printer, and click OK when you're finished. From now on, you should not have to enter the code when you want to print. For personalization, changing the colors and backgrounds, there are a few spots you go depending on what you want to change. I've already covered changing your picture. Click your name on the start screen. For the desktop background, right-click an empty spot and choose Personalize. Here you'll get the traditional box to change colors, backgrounds, sounds, and screensaver. You can also choose themes. If you want to change the background of the Start menu, click the Start button, then move your mouse all the way to the top right corner and hold it there. The Charms bar will come up. Choose Settings and then click Personalize. You can change your Start menu's background and colors as you want. If you want to change the lock screen, that swirl of colors when you first turn on your computer, click Start and type Settings. Choose PC Settings from the list of search results. Click Lock Screen, and you can change your lock screen by selecting a different picture and/or adding select apps to make it more useful. You can also change your setting, your picture setting from this menu. Since we're in a new style app, as opposed to a desktop application, now would be a good time to tell you about navigating these apps. If an app doesn't have the traditional close button, or even if it does, you can close it by moving your mouse to the top of the screen, clicking and dragging it all the way to the bottom, kind of like you're throwing it out. To get to the last used app, move your mouse to the top left corner and click. To see all running apps, again move your mouse to the top left corner, then move it down the side of the screen a little bit. Out pops the tray. No clicking involved. You can also have two apps side by side by just dragging one off the tray to the side you want it on. Again, to close an app, drag and throw it out. Double click to get rid of the bar. The last thing I want to show you are the options for setting up multiple monitors. Just right-click on the desktop and choose Screen Resolution. You'll see any monitors Windows recognizes in the top part. Click Identify if you aren't sure which monitor is which. It'll show a big number on all active displays. Normally, the important setting is the Multiple Displays drop-down box, which you will use to tell Windows what you want on which monitor. So click on the monitor you want to work with, then click on Multiple Displays, and tell Windows what you want the monitor to show. The settings are fairly self-explanatory. Duplicate these displays shows the same thing on both. Extend these displays means the displays will work like a single big monitor. And show desktop only on number 1, 2, or however many you have effectively turns off all other monitors. If you extend the displays but have to move the mouse the wrong way to get between them. All you have to do is drag and drop the displays to the correct positions. For instance, if my desk was physically set up that display number 2 was to the left of display number 1, all I'd have to do is drag display number 2 to the left of display number 1. And Windows will reconfigure the displays so they work as you would expect. Click Apply to test the settings out, or if you're confident with what you've chosen, just click OK. When changing something here, the screens will flicker. This is normal. If you've messed something up to the point the screens don't come back on, just wait 15 seconds or so and Windows will revert to the previous settings. Well, I think that wraps it up. If you have any questions not answered here, please contact the Technology Office.